guys, maybe some girls, and going off of the trolls, definitely some vaginas who aren't quite sure what door to use. What are we looking at today? We're looking at something Fugli. That's right. It's from Oscar Blues, and at least this one has alcohol in it. 5.8%. And it comes in a can, like pretty much everything from Oscar Blues. And we're going to put it in the flavor enhancing glass that Bulwark 1911 sent me from a brewery that overall does pretty good. And you know what? It's been a while since I've had moose drool. Alright, well, that's has a little bit darker color going. It's not this. It's has a tropical fruit presence. Cheers, guys. Oh, after spending the last 3 hours outside doing some landscaping, this tastes pretty good right about now. Okay, right up front, there is that tropical fruit. The middle brings a lull in the fruity action, and brings in a bunch of really nice, almost buttery bread biscuit-like flavors. And then it leaves you on not a dry bitter as in but a kind of a dry bitter finish with kind of a wrap up of all of the flavors. Kind of going down in the direction that I like an IPA to go. Except, of course, it'd be nice if it was, at least 10%. I mean, for what this is right now, kind of a pseudo lawnmower beer. Let's just say that it's going down good. The Real Cobra Burnout was first, and there was no more follow-ups. The Crazy Scotsman comment was and stayed as the last one. Big Regnet Papa, my big brother Wade, was second. Real Cobra Burnout, happy anniversary. Nothing wrong with the Olive Garden every now and again. I get full on their salads, though. I'm always torn because I really like their zuppa, but now that I have a newfound fun in cooking, I plan on making my own version of that after what me and Christine went through on the 20 plus days of juice. It's probably going to be somewhat difficult for me to get her too hyped up on more kale, because that's one of the things that's in their zuppa. A few kind of like ebomey. I know, it's beer, it's politics, and it's guns and or knives. One of the things I want to follow up on yesterday, and what did I do with it? Oh, I have it laying over here. I have the Mossberg torn apart. And you can see the no-go gauge. And I actually think that, as a follower goes, I think it was honestly working better than the stock Mossberg follower. Now, having said that, you're probably wondering why is it why is the gun apart? Well, one of the last things that, as we were departing yesterday, anybody that made it that far, because it was another stupidly long one, I had the no-go hang up somewhere in the tube. Well, this is something that I've been questioning, but I don't get this thing out and shoot it as much as I should, and I really should, because it's a lot of fun with the recoil reduction system that I have on it. Christine was shooting like some really hard hitting rounds with no problem at all, and it's basically a hydraulic piston that's inside of a buffer tube, and then you can put, you know, any stock on it that you want. The only thing that you can't really do is change your throw length. You can have the, well, I don't know if, I think he's out of business, but I could have had it made to a particular throw length. Long story short, the magazine tube for my Mossberg, this is an 8-round magazine tube, and if some of you remember, somewhere in time I had a like a quad Picatinny rail that on here, and it also had a quick release point sling mount, and that thing clamped on the magazine tube, and even though I don't see any issues with it, that thing has deformed the tube just enough that when you get to the 8th round, it causes the follower, and in this case the no-go follower, the no-go gauge follower, to get pinched. And in essence, you just created a springless tube, and the shells were working because I was holding it at enough of an angle. But this thing is toast, and I ordered another one off of Midway USA, and it should be here by Friday. So this weekend I can do a video for No Go Tactical. But yeah, there's something is screwed up because of that, and this had to be replaced. Doesn't do any good to have a defensive weapon that has issues. So that was that. Rich, Fu Master Chew 12. That looked like pineapple juice when it poured out, but it sounds good. Left you a little present down on the floor. Hee hee. Happy anniversary, brother. Thank you, Rich. I just kicked it to the side. It looks like a bunch of mud. I mean, I know it's not dog shit. She produces a lot more than that. Bulwark 1911. Throw out every single Muslim, tear down every mosque, and replace it with a school. Stop aborting our children and replacing them with immigrants. I'm sick and tired of watching innocent people die. There's no reason to tolerate such madness. No, there isn't any. But the sad thing is the idiot snowflake libtards somehow keep wanting to say that the United States is a melting pot, and this is what formed our country. So let's let illegals in here without any scrutiny and just let them displace throughout our country. I don't even know how anyone with half a fucking brain can have that come out of their mouth or even be part of their thought process. Again, liberalism is a brain disorder, and it shows. Because when you move from being a conservative patriot to having libtard thoughts, part of your brain is dying. We're getting close. I got notification from Annika. Oh, I want to see what she looks like. Annika from Matador Arms, that the shipment is getting ready to head in my direction, which is good, because in anticipation of that, I ordered a bunch of 30-round mags, giving me a few mags for the. Oh, it's just sitting here. I might as well show it to you, because I have absolutely no problems. Can't wait to get out and shoot this. A few 30 rounders for this, and a few 30 rounders for the SKS build. Yeah, let's look at the shitty condition that this stock is in. Yeah, I should just cut this one up. So, got a few mags in. I know you can get various round counts, but 30 seemed like a good number. I don't particularly care for the way it looks with the 40. I have a 40 rounder for the AKs, and you get that thing any longer, and it's just gonna form a full circle. McLean 5179. All these teachers of our children are lefties. At any time they can spout left-wing shit to our kids, and they're too young to know any different. And that's exactly the plan, my friend. You look at liberals and Hitler and all of the terrible governments throughout history all do the same thing. Indoctrination. Let's start with the children. And the problem is a lot of us are just so. It's only been recently that we've sort of started waking up the beast and saying, okay, enough is enough. It's just like, look at the other libtard douchebag loser organization, the NWLCP or whatever one it is, that goes around and makes it, and it happened here in my own town, makes it so that the 10 Commandments are removed from any government property. And the thing that pissed me off is some of people that should know better saying, oh yeah, they're right, separation of church and blah blah blah. No, bullshit. The fucking shit has been sitting there for 75 years, and you get some loser libtard want to go around and start lawsuits. Again, why can they so easily form a demonstration? Because they're just waiting around for their welfare check to show up, most of them, and it's easy to get them to come on down and hold up a picket sign. I know I've made this comment in case someone's new and listening. I remember one time, I think it was, I don't even remember if it was a station that was just starting to carry Rush, or one of our talk stations switched to a new talk show host, and boom, they had picketers out in front picketing that choice. And I remember driving by, and I'm just like, hey, that's Tom, that's Susie, that's what's his name, fucking idiot Van. Swung around, pulled up. Susie comes over to the car. Hey, Eric. I go, hey, Susie. I go, what exactly is it that you're picketing? She's like, I have no idea. I just got a phone call and said they'd buy me lunch if I came down and spent 3 or 4 hours marching back and forth and holding this sign. So, of the 10 or 12 people that were standing out there, my libtard idiot friend Tom and even more of a douchebag, his friend Van, were the only two people that were just there trying to protest. And the funny thing is any of you guys that know me and know I've ever talked about him, I've known him for a long time, and we align on just about everything but politics. And the thing is, he's also a big gun person, and I'm just like, dude, it doesn't work. You can't get it both ways. I mean, your side is the one that wants all the guns taken away. I go, you, Bill Clinton, yeah, he's my man. Yeah, Obama, yeah. Of course, in the process of being a big time Obama supporter, pretty much in the time that Obama was in office, he went from being very gamefully self-employed to, and he can pretty much thank Obama for the rock bottom on everything that happened. Medical, had a bunch of medical problems that weren't covered because of Obamacare, and it was just like, dude, you can come over to my side anytime, and we can actually, pick it for the right reasons. It's a sad thing. He's a really good guy, and I love him dearly, but when it comes to politics, he's very set in his ways. I'll give him that. J-Dog, here, top 10. Zeus, 10 feet higher still makes me laugh. I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about, my friend. Zeus, I seen that shotgun follower on We Like Shooting show. It's pretty cool and made from a much better material than most factory followers. No, I have to admit, when I was loading it, all the way till I got to shell number 8, when I was loading it, it just seemed more slickerish than it normally does. I mean, it's just basically a shock sensor. I mean, let's be straight up. I'm guessing every time you pull the trigger, that thing starts blinking in there. It's just that when it gets to the end and starts blinking, and I remember, one of the things, reading the stuff, a lot of testing was done with law enforcement, and I know what the first thing someone's gonna say is. It's like, okay, you made your last shot, you're in a defensive situation, now the bad guy's just gonna shoot where the light source is. Nah, it doesn't work like that. It's not bright enough. It's the only person that's gonna see it is you. Zeus, giveaway rifle, fly by please. It's so badass looking and from randomly donated parts. Melania just happens to be hanging out right here. Still waiting for her bolt carrier group. I guess I'm going to have to send another email out to them because their turnaround time. Oh shit. And I want to get out and shoot it because I have put quite a few rounds through this thing with the Odinworks on here, and now I can shoot it with the Huber square brake. Odinworks, Magpul, MBus Pros. I really love these sights, to be totally honest. I mean, I have a more expensive set. I have a more expensive set that I tried to give Ed, and Ed went with these. It was kind of like one of those things where I was like, Ed's my brother, man. I'll hook him up no matter what. But, God, it would really be nice if he wants the more expensive ones because I really like how well these just don't look like they'd co-witness like the other set that I have, but bam! They work perfectly. Oh, I'm sorry. That sexy looking bipod that the real Cobra Burnout sent. The angled foregrip, Odinworks, something else from Alicia. I don't want to get into it just in case she ever happens to watch these videos over here, but I recently joined LinkedIn. Why, I don't know. Because I'd like to find a different job. Or, I mean, I love what I do, but sometimes it's just real draining working for backwards sometimes. So Alicia is in LinkedIn, and she has a picture of herself there, and if you think that someone with the name Alicia potentially is attractive, you would not be disappointed. Oh, baby. So my AK-47 build, you don't know how badly I'd like to be able to get this scope, but I kind of, yeah, I already told you I'm like budget zero, and I have yet to meet anybody that produces scopes that give a flying shit about a YouTuber. But if I could, this is what I would put on Project SKS. This is just a badass scope, that, and mount. And who the hell made the comment about the toilet flushing sound? That's not a toilet. That's a sub pump. So the scope and the mount. First focus plane, just a sub $300 first focus plane scope. And I love that reticle setup in it. You learn this reticle, and you could hit a man walking at distance with this, because it gives you all of the stuff. I put this throw handle on here. Nobody makes one for this scope in this size other than this company. It is made out of plastic. I mean, granted, it should in theory be there forever, but it's still made out of plastic. Yeah, this is Battle Arms development. We got the velocity trigger in this, and then love these grips. I'd like to put this on the SKS build too, but I might just have to. Well, either I put a color. I either put that OD green that I have on it, and I have the grip that I want, but not the color that I want. Or I have to rummage through the collection of stuff. I have plenty of Magpul grips and stuff, but I remember the first time I had this grip, I was just like going, you know what? I don't know if I like this grip. Now, personally, you guys know me, I end up putting this sumbitch on everything. That's what I should do. I should put that OD green would look awesome on this giveaway rifle. Just kidding. And then the Luth AR. They're just badass stocks. These are, like I said, having a chance to do it all over again, I might have done this on my JP. I have the UBR, and it just doesn't even work right most of the time. You know, you go to try to collapse it, and it's just like something, lubrication just doesn't do it. The sling from the ATF sucks. This is just, honestly, this is just a badass rifle. I know at least two guys that are in fully to get their hands on this, and if either one of they win, they legally can't have it where they are, so they want to leave it here until they move somewhere else, which means, that's right, it'd be another one of the ebomey rigged giveaways. I'm not sure when we're gonna. The whole thing is gonna be up. next Sunday. So I'm giving guys time to still get involved. Actually, to be honest, I'm giving people time to open their fucking wallets and put more money. I mean, we're coming up on $17,000. My friend, my very, very generous friend that made the gigantic donation because he thought it had stalled out. Well, he accomplished 100% what he set out to do. First and foremost was to get money to help veterans, because now I almost have to kind of watch what I say. I didn't realize that I knew that he watched the other channel, but I didn't realize he was a follower over here. He is, you cut him, and I bet you he bleeds red, white, and blue. And veteran stuff is very important to him. To that level, I don't know what he donates on his own yearly to different military organizations and that, but I can't possibly say enough. Yeah, I'm not going to say anything, because anything I say could lead to hints, and he wanted to remain unknown. And I appreciate that, man. Appreciate everything that he has done. Oh, here goes Zeus. Wade, love the sound that shotgun makes when you rack it. I'd make the perfect notification sound. Yeah. See, that's why honestly, I realize you're a full second and a half behind the bad guy, but I intentionally do not leave a round in the chamber of that shotgun, in the Smile Money undisclosed secret location for which it resides normally. Now it's up on the rack where the BMG 50 normally sits, because the BMG, and someone else I need to get in contact with, find out what's going to happen. But it's down here because it's not reliable. Well, it's not reliable the way it is. If you were to hold it in the air and rack it, it would definitely adios an empty shell and chamber the next round, because gravity is doing that for you. But or only keep say 6 or 7 rounds in it, as long as you don't go for that last one where the tube is fucked up. Josh, my holster should appreciate your economy of time today. I think Josh drinks sometimes. Josh, again, happy anniversary to Ms. B and you. You two make a good couple. Thank you, Josh, and I won't argue with you at all. Most of you that think you know her are probably pretty close, because what you see is what you get. You guys that have had the opportunity to actually spend time with her through the shoots and live chats and all that. But I always go back to this one comment. Anybody that can, when she's sitting on the couch watching TV and I come upstairs from, say, doing a review, or I'm down here goofing off, and I come upstairs and I got an AR-15 in one hand, or an AK-47 in one hand, and a pistol in my pajamas, and she just looks at me and doesn't say anything. I mean, there's a lot of you guys, I know there's a lot of you guys over the years that have said, I wish I had, or I have what you have, in the fact that she is not as passionate as I am about firearms, but she's still a gun nut. I mean, every single time we see a movie and she's just like, is that an HK? I'd really like to add more HKs to my collection. And I'm just like, yeah, so would I. I've never owned an HK, and I've never owned a SIG. And As far as an HK, I really like the USP, or I don't remember what model it is, but it's like one of the most expensive ones, and it wouldn't be a carry gun. It would just be a fun shooting gun. But and as far as the Sig Sauer goes, I really want, I mean, my first one, unless the deal was too good to pass up, my first one would be, I really want a P220 Elite chambered in 10 millimeter. I know this will come as a shock to you. Josh, the only thing I ever enjoyed from the Olive Garden is the soup, salad, and breadstick deal. The Zuppa Tuscan soup rocks. Zuppa is very good. I was very undecided. I ended up going with the salad because I know their salad is really good too. Josh again. I need a chainsaw recommendation. My pawn shop saw finally died after 4 years. Looking for 50 cc's. Only use it a few times a year. Well, I personally have always owned steel, and no matter how much you abuse it, it just seems to run better. Now, having said that, we have, I can't think of the name brand now. The place where we normally go, because for me, it's Menards is the where we normally shop. They're like cheapest line saw. We've got a couple of them that we use, that we have in our arsenal, work arsenal, and they work. I mean, if it's just something that you're going to use every now and then, you want to have it on hand, pretty much anything will foot the bill. But like I said, I've had two steel. I had one and sold it because I upgraded to like the next model up when I was married to the hooker, and we had a very large piece of property that I maintained, and trees would come down, and I was doing, clearing and reclaiming my yard and that kind of shit. And when I went through my divorce, I sold that to a good friend of mine. Even for me, it'd be the kind of thing, I'd be even less than you. It might be used once a year, but now I would have it for work, and it would get used a lot more. So steel, it would be my recommendation. Otherwise, for your kind of usage, maybe another pawn shop saw. Josh again. Your causality theory is flawed. Sorry. In reality, you are friends because of all that has already happened. Going back and making this change, and yes, also applying the ebomey free gun to strangers quotient, you will undoubtedly create another paradox where the recipient will disappear. In conclusion, I will risk it. Ready for Melania. I mean, going against the string theory and black holes and all that, willing to forego time paradox just to get the rifle, I appreciate that. And Keck, happy anniversary. Cheers to you and your miss. Mrs. Thank you. I appreciate that. My only issue is, of course, I was one of those foolish idiots that tried everything to keep a family structure in place for the sake of the children, and both of the and when the children come to you and say, "Why in the hell did you stay with her that long?" Now, if I would have followed suit on that, then but again, going off of that whole time continuum thing, would I be where I am now if things would have been different then? Everything happens for a reason. The Crazy Scotsman, congrats on the anniversary. Cheers, my friend. Thank you, my friend. And see you on Friday. And Keck, that's one badass shotgun rig. Yeah, I mean, depending on what I plan on doing with it, I don't know if the red dot will stay on it. I mean, if you're using it for a defensive shotgun, you just basically point and click. If you were to go skeet shooting with it, again, not so much. About the only scenario, the way it's laid out right now, that sort of works is the 3-gun thing. But hey, it does look badass though. I'll stick with that. Smile money. The light follower, I think, is a novelty. You are always so negative. I am about as tactical as Elmer Fudd, but should you be reloading whenever you get to cover or break in the action, a click is not going to be any slower than seeing a light. You know, you sort of always do bring a little logic to it, but... Muzzle first, happy anniversary. You found one of the good ones. I will not argue with you at all. I feel very blessed, and she is a wonderful person, a wonderful woman. It's a great deal. I'm not going to argue with you at all. Muzzle first. Ben N, 27th, or what the fuck? Sharky 762, happy anniversary, mate. Thank you. Remco, Remmeister, Remy, the Remster. Sharky 762, I love how the brew chick hides that Smith & Wesson TRR8 just by sitting on it. Nice. That is. She did a good job of it. Sharky 762, sweet. SKS for the build is on its way. Hope that it's perfect one for the chassis and not another pristine one. No, it is not pristine. It should do well for this particular situation. And I might be able to pick that up as early as tomorrow. We'll have to see. Ed, cheers. Sharky, I never lived with a woman when I was younger, but I learned real fast that leaving the toilet seat down results in morning sex after a date and not an empty bed and open front door when you wake up. It's a big deal. I can always tell when mostly single guys are here in the house. Either that or their women aren't very vocal, but yeah. Not to mention, personally, I think if you're gonna stage a bathroom, you wouldn't put the toilet seat up, you'd have it down. Ammo at 73. I heard my play cousin Kim is divorced now. Party time. Have to be careful, cause back before she was married, cousin Tony got stuck in her, and his mother had to get the water hose out and spray him down. From then on, we nicknamed her the Penis Flytrap. The family reunion is going to be fun this year. Good times. Maybe I'll join you. It's too loud, you're too old. Happy anniversary to you two. Nothing wrong with the Olive Garden. Of course, I like food when they have plenty of good stuff. Oh, it's not bad, except for, of course, our tastes have changed so much that... Here's what's pretty pathetic. I actually look forward to what I had for lunch today. And that was my own blended up stuff, similar to what I told you guys about the other day. The only thing I did different is originally it was tomatoes, and if you do get a juicer, I recommend doing tomatoes first. It seems like juicers have the most problems with tomatoes because they're so liquidy. Tomatoes, carrots. I put a few pieces of celery in this time. Well, the original one was carrots, spinach, and tomatoes. And this time it was carrot, spinach, tomatoes, chives, garlic, habanero, a little bit of celery, and a very small lemon. And the lemon helps to add a little bit of the life expectancy to the juice, and that's just a little hint of lemon, and then salt and pepper, and that was my lunch today. All I've had so far today. I mean, after a few days of being able to have whatever we want, honestly, we were both looking forward to going back to juice. The only thing I've had today that was solid at all is I had an avocado at morning break and an avocado with juice at lunch. And then now we're juicing some more. Gillian 426, happy anniversary, Eric and Christine. Thank you, my friend. It's too loud or too old. I want a new phone, just can't bring myself to buy any of the new shit. On a different topic, I picked up some cigars and then saw a pipe. So I got a pipe with some bourbon, whiskey, tobacco, and it's not bad. Cheers, brother. I have several pipes laying around here. I know a whole bunch of them were out. So I think when I cleaned well, actually, in the zombie's mouth, that was a Savinelli pipe, and that's one of my favorite ones. It's made out of some good wood, and because of the size of the pipe, it usually keeps the tobacco fairly cool, just like a cigar. The slower you can smoke it, the more you're gonna get the flavors and not super heated up. But yeah, I haven't actually fired up the pipe in quite a while. I have 3 of them, 4 of them actually. That one. I have another one that started life off as a blank, and then there's a cheapo. Right here. I might have to, after listening to you, I might have to pick up some stuff. I haven't smoked a lot of pipe tobacco since a guy that I knew had a place downtown, and he most of the shit, he had a wall of great big glass canisters, and it was all stuff that he made. So if you walked in and said, I'm looking for something that's a little bit sweeter, kind of like smoking dessert, he'd be like, number 8. And then the next time I'd be in there, I'm looking for kind of a heavy hitter, but I really like Macanudo, Punch cigars, that kind of thing. And he'd be like, you want that one? And this dude looked like he just fell off of a Harley Davidson. I mean, leathers and the big old beard, and I mean, he just looked like a badass. And he actually hit when he died, the bike that he had at the time was a Yamaha Radian. And if you don't know what that is, look it up, because it doesn't look anything like a Harley. Actually, it kind of looks like what happens when you take a cruiser and a crotch rocket and smash them together. EMT Rail fan, happy anniversary to you and Ms. Bomey. Thank you, my friend. Jonathan, I can't say anything about phones. I run an iPhone. iPhone gets accused. When I did updates, slow my phone down. More iPhone stuff popped up than Android stuff. Just be honest. Brad Thomas, cool story. Cheers, Eric. That's the last comment. I'm going to hit the refresh button and see if it stands. Oh, denied by Mr. Holster. Dang, almost missed the anniversary. Then, Mr. Holster, 1 minute, 56 seconds. Outstanding, sir. Don't get to say that often. You will again today. So, now that we have this all wrapped... Oh, quick thing. Everybody's still here. I brought up the theory of tugging on the heartstrings of the tactical gun shooting parents out there that would be willing to donate the shit to Justin's Final Mission so that they could get their kid a Justin's Final Mission 1022. But again, I'm always looking for your guys' thought process on this. See, and unless somebody, and when I say somebody, I mean Chuck, if somebody wants to send me a primary arms if someone wants to send me this scope, I'd really love you. Because it would go on the SKS build. As it stands right now, the Vortex Strike Fire is what's going to end up on it, so it'll be coming off of this, and I don't know what I'd put on here. But, okay, right to the question. Now I'm just going to throw this out there, just thinking out loud and involving you guys. Put together a build like this. Just chassis up a Ruger 1022 and put some Go Fast goodies in it, and make it something for the our next generation to enjoy. And all the money would go to that man right there. Or Plan B, we build up something a little bit more over the top. And why am I saying that to you? Because those kids, the kid that wins, will be growing up someday, and maybe when they're all growed up, they could take and build themselves a 5.56, a 300 Blackout. Plenty of other, they could build themselves an upper, and they would have a fully compatible lower. Like, even though this one is just a dedicated, because this is my, right now this actually doesn't, I might have stuffed just a generic one in here. My original Project Overkill, the lower was completely set up to be popped off and go on a 5.56 upper, and that ended up being, that's Spike's Tactical, really nice lower. But so that's just my thoughts. If we built up, instead of it being in a chassis, we actually built a real AR chambered in 22 long rifle. I mean, hell, you could take it one step farther if you wanted to. You could put one of them CMG bolt carrier groups in it that fires it. I don't know. This has been very reliable, so that's why I kind of lean in this direction. Is a dedicated 22 long rifle upper, and down the road, if they wanted to go to 5.56, they could basically, without having to do an FFL thing, you could order a 5.56 upper. Like right now, I mean, I could still pop the pins on this and put any of the 5.56 uppers on this and have a functional gun. I mean, I can't remember if I threw one in here or not. Right now it does not. But needless to say, I've got buffers and springs and all sorts of shit laying around. It would be 2 parts, and this thing would be ready to go 5.56 all day long. So that was my thought on that. And seeing how Chuck would be donating all the parts like always, because he's been so helpful with all this veteran stuff over the years. It is amazing, honestly. I am amazed at all of the support I get from Chuck. So, what should we look at tomorrow? Let's look at something from Central Waters. 2-year vintage barley style wine. They call it Y2K. And originally designed for the Y2K survival kit, this beer is proven to be a staple for everyone's emergency plan. Y2K is a delightful treat, aged for 2 years in the cellars to create a brew smooth enough to overcome any disaster. And I do not see an alcohol percentage. What is up with these places? Let's look at this one tomorrow. The temperature hasn't dropped by 20 degrees in 5 seconds. Of course, they've been talking about rain all day, which hasn't happened yet. Might take my ass outside and smoke me a big-ass cigar. So, cheers, guys. And again, you made it this far. The thoughts on that. An ATI chassied up Ruger 1022. You know, like I said, if I have to, I'd donate this whole rifle right now just to do it. I mean, soldiers, our military and what they stand for mean more to me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I actually really enjoy shooting this. It's just like, I think I told you guys, look at the centering on this chassis. When I talked to Matt at ATI, he's like, no man, that should be centered in there. You've got one of the very, very early on ones. He basically pulled production, put it in a box, and sent it to me so I could do a video. And he's being a nice guy. But you know why? He offered to send me a new chassis, and I said, no man, don't do it. If you think about it, the chassis is aiming, well, depending on how you want to look at it, the chassis is flat and the barrel is aiming up. I have, in essence, if you were going to do long range, big bore shooting, 338, 300 Win Mag, you know, take your pick, BMG, and you want to get a 30 degree, well, not 30 degree, you want to get, you can get scope mounts, and even some of the guys that I follow have specifically built specialty ones, and when you look at their scopes, it's like, why is the scope not seeing the top of the barrel? It looks like it's sloped down so much. Well, this thing is a dead-on shot at 100 yards. There's drop happening just because of that. This thing is a lot of fun to shoot. I mean, it makes it like 25 yards, it makes one hole, and then at 100 yards, you're still hitting at exactly what you're aiming. But like I said, thoughts, you guys that are willing to answer my questions and put it out there. You know, do we do something like this? If not this? I mean, for all those people out there like, it's like it wasn't for people sending them shit. You know, it's like, go fuck yourself. I'm willing just to give up my rifle, one that I truly enjoy. Except for this, I mean, I'll leave it together just like this, if somebody wants to send me a primary arms, this is just a fucking badass scope. This would be so awesome on a SKS chassis build, just because it has such get out and reach. I mean, it just goes to show the quality of the character of someone like Zeus. I don't know, after looking at this and shooting this optics, how Zeus pulled this off of his rifle and sent it to me so that we could give it away. Well, I know why, because Zeus also will bleed red, white, and blue. But this is just a... Zeus, you haven't helped at all by sending me this on my personal issues of not wanting... I cannot justify right now. Well, she'd kill me. But 4-14, first focus plane with this, even this mount. It's just such a fantastic setup. Yeah, I would. And again, you guys saw it in the video, man. Everybody's going, boy, is this thing freaking accurate? And I thought about it. I'm like, I didn't do anything. I took this out of the package and stuck it on this rifle. And it's shooting dead on at 100 yards. Okay, it's already gone on too long. I'm gonna get out of here. I got to admit, I wish I was her swimsuit. Cheers, guys. See you tomorrow. Maybe.